pressure isn't down to within our target pressure zone, then we will consider changing you to another drop or adding a drop in. Likewise, if your drops are causing you problems, then we will adjust them as we are able. You will hear a lot today about the launch of the new website, which you will be able to access at home and watch a video of me doing the drop technique there. But we'll tell you more about that later. So to finish, I'd like to reiterate that if you are experiencing any problems at all, then it is important that you're honest with yourself and with us, and come and talk to us. We will do our best to find a solution to your problem. We are here to help.
As I previously said, that glaucoma support group main focus has been getting people to use the drops correctly, treatment correctly, do the basics right so that we can prevent further damage. And I'll just re-emphasize a few more points why we are saying 2 minutes, why we are saying focal occlusion. Essentially, you might have realized whenever you're watching a movie, if it's a bit emotional, if you feel that tears will drop down, you blink too many times. Every blink is a pump action which is taking fluid into your nose. There is a duct at the corner of the top lid and corner of the bottom lid, and through blink, everything goes into the nose. So if you are unable to do that, otherwise your tears will come onto your cheek. But then you're putting the eye drops in, and many people do this, that it will spread well. It will not spread well, it will go into the nose. You will not get the peak effect of the drop in your eye, but you will get the peak side effect of the drops. So it's very important when you put the eye drop in, don't blink too many times, do one eye at a time, and as soon as the drop has gone, gently close your eye, don't squeeze, and press. And you're pressing at the junction of eye and the nose, but you're pressing the nose. You are not pressing the eye. You don't want, if you press the eye, you'll cause the pressure to go up temporarily for 1 minute, and which might be detrimental. So it's important to press the nose. So that is a very important thing, that you should do the drops correctly. Another thing which Sarah highlighted, that it's best to stick to the same routine, but you have to have a life. If you are going out, it's better to do the drops half an hour early rather than to miss it at all. Because suppose you're going to a dinner party and you're doing the drops at 7 o'clock and you have to leave the house at 6, and then you rely that maybe I should do it when I come back, and after the few glasses of wine, you may not be in a position to do it. It's much better to do the drop before you go. Now, another thing is, remember what drops you are on. I will be talking about the side effect of the medication, and we can talk about those a little bit later. But one drop particularly, which is Timolol, has lots of side effects. It's a beta blocker. It affects your breathing. So suppose you are using the drops and you start to develop breathlessness. Then you need to think, what has changed? Was your medication changed recently? If your medication was changed and we have added beta blocker, although Mr. Sharma had asked the question, do you have asthma? And you said no, but you might be having some borderline situation. You were not symptomatic before, but after the initiation of this drop, it might have become relevant to your system. Your system may not be able to cope, and you are getting breathless. First thing you should do is stop that drop or consult your GP. Important thing is first do the punctal occlusion, because that will avoid that. Because it's not going in your system, so you will not get any of the side effect. But even then, a little bit is going, and you're getting some symptoms, you're getting the irritation. You can, usually patients make the correct decision. They know which drop is bothering them the most. If it is giving too much of a bother. If it is affecting your quality of life, there are other things available. It's not that I'm against surgery, I'm against laser. There are laser treatments, there are newer treatments, and all the newer treatments are available in Worcestershire thanks to actually Glaucoma Support Group. So we can do all those things, but important thing to do these things right. So for the sake of time, I'll go to our next talk. I'll give you a bit of break from the glaucoma stuff, but there are two organizations which are helping patients across Worcestershire and across the whole country. Sight Concern is our local organization which helps people. I'll let them talk about what they do. So I'll invite now Katie from Sight Concern. She'll just going to talk to you for a few minutes about the role of Sight Concern in Worcestershire. Thank you, Kate.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to thank Mr. Sharma and the team for inviting me here today to give you an update on the work that we do at Sight Concern. Support is available at Sight Concern for anyone around the county with any level of sight loss. If you're new to sight loss, we always suggest our Which Way Now course is the first step. This is a comprehensive information gathering course which is run by our rehabilitation officer. Many clients who have attended this course say that apart from the information that they receive, just to talk to someone who's in the same situation makes such a difference. For those that perhaps have had a change in their vision, a visit to our resource room to look at the aids and equipment we have for sale will enable them, they can purchase them and it will enable them to lead an independent life. And there are gadgets that prove very useful to this. We're currently going through a period of great change as Sight Concern. Following a major reduction of funding from the County Council, we've had to examine closely the services that we provide and how we fund them. The results of a county-wide consultation that we did earlier in the year gave us overwhelming evidence that many of our clients would prefer services closer to home. So we've already started this process by putting low vision clinics in both Redditch and Kidderminster. And from the start of next year, we're moving our peer support groups out into the community too, starting in Bromsgrove. We will still have activities based at the Bradbury Centre in the centre of Worcester, and these include computer classes, exercise classes, Tai Chi, craft and art classes, and cookery. If you'd like to know any more about these classes, just let me know. We are also still funding our volunteer visitor programme. We have an army of brilliant volunteers all around the county who support clients in their own homes with a variety of activities. For some, just having some support reading their post is crucial, but we've also got volunteers that go tandem cycling with clients, swimming, playing chess. So within reason, anything that a client wants to do, we will endeavour to find a volunteer to support that client. We've also recently expanded our fundraising team, allowing us to apply for more funding and put on more events. Our next major event on Wednesday the 29th of October is the Firewalk Challenge. We'd like to thank the brave members of the nursing team here that have agreed to take part. If you're interested in finding out more about this event, I brought some information with me today, which I've left on the table outside. Finally, I'd like to tell you about our very own bake-off that we had at the centre recently. Two clients, both male, who had never cooked in their lives. Both went home recently with a cake each that they'd made themselves in our cookery class. They were very pleased. During the 6-week course, clients learn, for example, about new ways of measuring different ingredients and about safety in the kitchen. So perhaps baking will become a new hobby for them. And we may even see one of them on the Great British Bake Off one day. I've left some information packs on the table outside, so if you'd like one to take away, please help yourself. And you're very welcome to give me a call at the Bradley Centre any time if you want to discuss any of our services in more detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Thanks very much. As for the program, I'll invite now Williams, is from IGA, International Glaucoma Association, and just like I'll let him speak what they're doing. And after that, I'll just come back and do my bits. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.
Good morning to you all. Wonderful to see so many of you here. I'm Errol Williams, and I work for the IGA, and I cover the South West, West Midlands and South Wales. It's quite a large patch. I'm delighted to say, just by looking in terms of numbers, this is probably the biggest support group in the whole of the UK, I would guess, certainly within my patch. And which I think, again, is down to the efforts of Mr. Sharma and Sarah and their team to generate the interest that they obviously have to get you all here. And it's an absolute delight from my point of view to see so many smiling, trigger-happy faces. Now, our mission at the IGA, and by the way, I'm the second part of the commercial here, but our mission statement is to raise awareness of glaucoma, to promote research related to it, and to treat and provide support to patients and all those who care for them, in the treatment, and provide support to patients and all those who care for them. So we help you by supplying you with information, as do the departments, and we try also and aid the departments as well. Now, just to be brief, we, in the last 10 years, have put £2.5 million into research, thanks to yourselves and our members, to legacies, because we don't have any government support in terms of grants. We've also appointed in 2010 Professor of the IGA, Professor Garway Heath. Now that's a commitment to us of about £1 million we put aside for a £70,000 commitment per annum. Now that sounds an awful lot of money to put aside, and it is. But this gentleman, together with his colleagues, have already generated in the last 3.5 years almost £4 million worth for future glaucoma research, which I think is fantastic. So he's actually earning his money, and it's important that we get the support from you to be able to continue this. And this is the part that's a bit more commercialised. We are offering £10 memberships per annum today to anybody who would like to join. It's normally £17.50, but we are offering that. You've seen our booklets up there. And one point, I'm glad John mentioned earlier on about the DVLA. And I just thought, bear with me while I change my glasses, that I would read a little section in our current magazine, again specifically by the DVLA, and it's been written by Steve Thomas, who's head of Drivers Medical Group. It was February 2014 when Russell and Karen from the IGA first approached the DVLA with a request to share some of the frustrations and issues that their members were having around some of the services that I'm ultimately responsible for delivering. 6 months on, and I'd like to think that we have developed a healthy working relationships whereby we can use each other to start achieving the common goal of providing excellent services to drivers who have to go through certain processes in order to evidence that they can meet the legal medical standards for driving on the roads of Great Britain. We are ultimately trying to achieve the same outcome, although I am the first to accept that we are not quite there yet, particularly for our customers whose driving licence applications are not straightforward. I'm delighted, however, but we are now starting to work in partnership with the IGA as they can give us true customer insight into any issues around the services that we currently offer. This insight is crucial in helping us to try and improve things. So things are moving forward. We've actually produced our booklet, which is still currently in print on driving, which will tell you exactly what has been told you already today, but it will be clear, concise and to the point. And the point about insurance is obviously very important. The DVLA are not there to actually catch you out. What they do want to be sure of is that you are a safe driver on the UK roads, and heaven knows they're the busiest roads anywhere. So there we are. That's what the IGA are trying to do. We're trying to work on your behalf. So if you can support us, we will definitely support you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you all, and I will just say, Professor Ted Darby, I'm trained with him as well, so I'm one of his students. So, and it is important to continue the research. That's very important. Can you just tell me, just out of interest, you said this group is perhaps the most successful glaucoma support group. We have about 100 here. What is the average number in other counties?
It varies considerably, but it can be as low as 5 and up to 40, 50. In Gloucester, we've had one, the first one they had 44. They have a very, very keen and enthusiastic sister there. The same as Sarah and the same as Mr. Sharma here, who have worked very, very hard to generate this interest. And it's to all your benefit. You've seen today just what information can be given to you that will help you overcome your problem, or at least it will assist to prevent you eventually, hopefully, going back, which is a very important consideration.
Thank you all. Thank you for saying that this support group is the best in the country. And you know, the whole idea started when was seeing that patients are not getting that much of information. You know, in the first hour, we have just almost finished 1 hour, and I've yet not spoken about my 75 slides which I want to speak to you about. But we have to adhere to the time because we have to finish today. Finish on time. The main emphasis today is the launch of our glaucoma website, because that way I can talk to you for hours. And we have, this idea came to my mind while I was running these meetings, that this is the 5th birthday, and we started the first support group, we had 40 people, and on an average we have been getting 80, and today we have break the barrier of 100, so we made the century. But not everybody was able to come, and not everybody was able to remember whatever I was saying. So 2 years ago, we were thinking about it, and we thought, why don't we develop a website so that people can access through that video. As I've previously said to you, that the success of support group, the whole success goes to, the credit should go to Sarah and Sally, along with Laura, who's sitting here, and other nursing staff, because I get lots of ideas, and as people say, there is behind a successful man there is a woman. I've got 2 women behind me. Now more. Sarah has generated this support group, and Sally has been instrumental in creating this website. I get the idea, but all the organization and that things happen, that's because of these 2 people. And I would like to say my thanks to my hospital. One of the reasons that this support group is the best in the country, because our department is very well supported by our management, and our chief executive, she is here, she is among the audience, and she will be launching the website. But before she launches officially, she announces this website to be open, we'll just give a brief introduction about what this website is about. So I'll ask the 2 girls or ladies who have done the maximum work on this.
thank you for your kind words, Mr. Sharman. In order for you to fully understand the huge benefits of this website, I'd like you all to put yourself in the position of a patron. Many of the audience here today will identify completely with this scenario. Imagine that you've been to your opticians, you've gone for your usual checkup. You're not suffering from any problems with your eyes. As far as you're concerned, you are fine. The optician tells you that the pressure inside your eye is slightly higher than normal, and they want to refer you to the hospital for investigation. You come to the hospital and you're seen by a huge variety of staff. You see nurses, visual field technicians, doctors. You undergo a huge range of investigations and examinations. At the end of the consultation, you're told you have glaucoma. This is a complete and utter shock to you. You're told that you must use drops for the rest of your life. You're given other information about your family, about driving, about future appointments. You're shocked, frightened, confused and unsure of what you've been told. You arrive home and your daughter asks you, what happened at the hospital? Unfortunately, a huge proportion of this audience will completely tell similar stories to this. Thankfully, the website means that in the comfort of your own home and with the help and support of your family around you, you can watch and listen to the information that you were given at the hospital and much more. You're able to look at this information at your own pace. You can look at things in the depth that you wish to. You access the website purely by typing the address that you've been given on this slip of paper today into your search engine. The first point of call you'll probably look at is the video that says, what is glaucoma? This will repeat the information that you were given at your consultation by the doctor.
Glaucoma is a condition which affects the nerve of the eye. The visual loss from glaucoma results from characteristic deterioration of the optic nerve, leading to progressive loss of field of vision. That means the side vision of the eye slowly is taken away. Because it happens at a different rate in two eyes and in different area of the eyes, it's very difficult for me to identify. That's why it's called silent people, the sign.
After that, you might want to watch the video about eye drops and eye drop technique, exactly as I demonstrated earlier this morning. The beauty of the video means that you can pause, rewind, skip, repeat.
And in treating the fashions of using an apparatus models, you may find it useful to create a chart that you can tick off to say that you've used them at that time of that day. If you have any
You may have other questions you may want to refer to the website for further information. Why do you need visual field tests? Some of you will require information about other treatments, laser treatment, minimally invasive glaucoma surgery, trabeculectomy. So the website continues to be both informative and supportive to our patients and their family from the point of diagnosis and beyond. I'm extremely proud to be involved in its creation and to help show it you today. I'm now going to hand over to Sally, who's going to give you an overview of some of the website's functions.
Thank you. Sarah's shown you some of our main features of the website, and I'd just like to show you how to navigate around. When you first come onto the website, this will be the page that you will first come to. On this page, we've got quite a lot of information. It will tell you how many views we've had of the website, and already it's only been live for about a month, and 412 people have already been on the website. It will tell you about our next events that we've got upcoming. It will give you some links to other sites to give you information. We've got our e-glaucoma card, which Mr. Sharman is going to talk to you about later. And we've also got a place here for you to leave a review. We already have on this page quite a few reviews, some fabulous ones, and we'd like it if everybody here today was able to leave us a review. You just go to the bottom of this page and fill in this little area, and then that will publish your review onto our website. Going back to the home page, if you want to know some more information about Mr. Sharma, you just need to click this little link here, and the same with all these other bits at the bottom. If you just click on the link, they all open up and give you more information. All of our latest videos, the new ones, will all be on the front page. And going towards the bottom of the page, we've got a link to our Facebook page, we've got a link to the Glaucoma Association, and also a link to Sight Concern. Moving along to the next tab, which is about our team, this will tell you about the history of the Glaucoma Support Group, and also again give you some more information about ourselves, the team. The next link is probably the one that you'll access the most, and this is about all of our videos. There's some videos showing on this page, but you might feel that there's another video that you'd like to see that isn't showing. Just at the top of the page here, we've got a link, which you can click onto that will then take you through to all the other videos that we've done so far. So there's quite a few there, but we will be updating this as much as possible. So if there's any videos that you'd like us to do, please do let us know, and we'll do our best to get them done. Okay, going on to the next page, we've got frequently asked questions. Which again, it's all very simple. You have your question, you just click on the question, this will then drop down and give the answer. We then have a page with news and updates. This will mainly be about our next meetings and any information that we'd like to pass on to you. We've also got a page with downloads and information. Again, just click on the link, it will download the leaflet, which you can either read on the screen or you can also print off. Very last tab we've got is a contact, stay in touch with us. This just generates an email through to us. Please be aware that this email isn't monitored daily, so if you have something that's really urgent, please contact us direct. The website has now been live for about a month. During that time, I find it quite interesting that we've already had 384 hits. This has now gone up to over 400 hits. People are spending approximately 9 minutes per session looking at the website. We've had 1,187 page views already, 365 views of the videos, and people are looking at 6 pages per session. We've had 253 views coming from the UK, 130 people from the USA, and we have one person from Italy. Thank you.
As I said, that this could not be have been done without the support of our team. And as a matter of fact, I need to mention Jane Brindley here. She was the one who organized this room. Thank you, Jane. I would like to now invite our Chief Executive, Danny Venables, and I'm really thankful to Danny for all the support. And I would like you to come and officially announce this website open and launch. And would you like to show Danny as well, how you have already covered that? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. It's absolutely delightful for me to be here this morning, and so exciting to see the launch of this website. I'm going to do the official bit and get it open, but then I'd just like to say a few words. I'd like to say a few words about glaucoma. Don't look too worried, Mr. Chairman. And I'd like to say a few words about support groups, because I feel they are so valuable. But absolutely delighted to see this. I know this will be of major support and help to help pass information, to help not just our patients, but also their friends and families to understand and give them help. So I've opened buildings before and I've opened rooms. I've never opened a website. So it's delightful first for me that I proclaim our website officially launched, officially open, and well done for everybody that's what I'd like to just share with you is why I feel this is so important. And so to give you a story connected to my family, in 1997 my mother-in-law was diagnosed with glaucoma in another part of the West Midlands. But looking at the information leaflets, looking at what's coming on the website, I can totally identify with the need for that information to be available, because she came back from the clinic where she'd been diagnosed and said, "Oh, Penny, you work in a hospital, I've got all of these questions. Now, I've worked in a hospital for 30 years, but I don't have a clinical background, so the pressure was on really to think, I don't know about this condition, where can I find things out?" And I actually ended up going to her next outpatient appointment with her, because she had so much information that she couldn't take in and so many questions that she was a little bit frightened to ask, that I went with her and I asked some of those questions for her. That was in 1997, and she's 84 next month, and has, obviously all of this information now. But if at that time I'd had a website I could go and look at, if she'd had a support group that she could have been part of, I can see the benefits that she would have had, and perhaps been able to access, more helpful and detailed information at a time when she had so many questions that she wanted to ask. In terms of this support group itself, again, I've been involved in patient support groups since 1988. I helped to establish a patient support group on the liver transplant unit in Birmingham at that time, when the unit was being established. And I've had involvement with a number of other patient support groups since then. And I've personally witnessed the value that they give in terms of bringing people together to share ideas, to ask those questions, and to compare, what's it like for you, what have you heard about this? And all of them that I've been involved in have been such positive groups. So I'm absolutely delighted that we've got the best glaucoma support group in the country, I think no less. I'm extremely proud of our ophthalmology services, as Mr. Sharma knows. I'm really proud of our glaucoma service. So thank you all for supporting it. I do hope that this website will benefit you and your families, but I know that it will also benefit all of those future patients who will be coming and using our services in the future. So thank you, and thank you to the team for your involvement.
After this, actually, I had planned a few words. We have heard from the nurses, we have heard from the people who developed the website. I would like one of you to speak, and I've chosen Mrs. Noble, and she is all, we have been speaking, I've been taking care of Mrs. Noble for the last 7 years now.
Yes, we have.
And she has moved to Red Hill, but she still comes to Worcester for her operations, and she stayed in, but I'll let her speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma, and thank you to you two girls for everything you do for us patients. I think on behalf of everyone, aren't we lucky to be here at Worcestershire Eye Hospital? And I do live in Red Hill now. I lived in Droitwich for 46 years, but used to come to Mr. Sharma, and because my eyesight had deteriorated, there isn't another man I would come to, and he decided that he thought I would have this operation. It's a bit... Yes, and well, I didn't think about it before I went into it, except to be coached by Sally of what would happen and how long it would take. And I came up and went into the outpatient's room to get all ready, and they were absolutely marvellous to put my mind at rest that, if I didn't feel too good, I lifted up my hand, or someone would be there ready to hold my hand if I needed them. And then Mr. Sharma came in and they put me out of my misery, in the sense that they covered all my face and everything, and off I went for the operation. And actually, of course, you do have it's all well, not injected, is it? It's
Anesthesia. Anesthesia.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, anesthetic. I think I'm still under it after 3 months. But actually, it was marvellous. You didn't you didn't feel anything, you did hear them talking across you, because of course your face is covered with a green sort of sheet, but it was fine. Luckily Sarah had told me it would take about 1 3/4 hours, I think, altogether. And it was just as well, because you're lying there with no watch and you can't see anything, and you keep on thinking, well, it must be over in a minute, I must have been here for 10 or 15 minutes. But actually, I had it done, and I sat down and had a cup of tea afterwards, and I came to see Mr. Sharma the next day, and I think I've been back twice to see you since. And the thing about, hair washing and things like that is quite good, really, because I went to my hairdresser where I do have a backwash, and I took a clean flannel with me, and they were very kind enough to let me hold it over my eye. I think you've got to be sensible about what you do, and not to sort of be bull as a gate, and you've got to take it easy for those first 2 or 3 weeks to sort of make sure that nothing goes wrong with it. And so far, so good. I've come up to see Mr. Sharma today, and I'm only have to put drops in this one eye at the moment 2 or 3 times a day. And in the other eye, of course, I'm on about 8 drops a day, because I haven't had the operation done on the other eye. But, I shan't hesitate to have it done, because it has been absolutely marvellous. And we've got the best man in the country, let alone America and everywhere else, and we're very fortunate. Thank you, Mr. Sharma.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Denise, for such kind words. I'll just go back and just show you a few more things which we could do with the website. One of the reasons I was getting worried was the scenario is changing, commissioners are changing, care is going to different places. You need to know what's going on with your eyes. So we have on this page developed an e-card for glaucoma, which is, I think, first in the country. You've already opened it. So why don't you come and show it? So it has been opened by Sally. In this e-card, I was showing on the website. If you click on the website, it comes and you can download this e-card.
Excuse me.
To your computer. And what you can do then, you write down your pressures. So you can put the date. Okay, we have to enable editing. So you have to enable editing when you put in the stop clicking. Yeah. One of the reasons for my success is I just keep quiet in front of women. So you can just put the So once you've downloaded this file onto your computer,
It just takes a little while to download. Once it's downloaded, it works fine.
I've clicked too many times. Okay. So if we put this date, what is interesting here is that you can put your pressure in the eye. Suppose it was 23 in the and 25 in the left eye. Next time it was 18 and 18. Next time it was 19 or 20. What this also does, it gives you, it's not showing at the moment. What that?
It's because you haven't got the dates in.
No. This will work. This is working. At the moment, something has happened, but this is it's very useful to keep the record with you, and it will show the graph of your pressures. And that's how you can check if you are being seen by an optician. You can check my target pressure was 18, and I'm seeing this man or this locum doctor or this new company or practice, that somebody coming from London, seeing you, and they say, your pressure is 22 and that's fine, you go home, you know that it's not right. And that's the strength of this website and this e-card. This e-card idea came from Worcestershire, that is Mr. Perry, who is one of our consultants, and that's why we call it Perry's e-card and makes PEG. So you can have 1 PEG, 2 PEG or 3 PEG. 1 PEG is basically PEG 1 is for pressure, PEG 2 is for visual field test. But you can download it and it always works, but it's just like typical, and it's good that this thing has happened, that it is not working at the moment. I'll just try to do it one more time and see if it works this time. But websites always do this kind of thing.
We've also got a room booked afterwards.
What's that?
We've also got a room booked afterwards for demonstrations.
Yes, because we have to finish at 12:30, we have booked a room for those who want to explore this and have discussion with us. We'll be there to help you to be able to use it. Do take this slip with you, and we'll now go back to the question and answer session. Penny, I know you are very busy. If you have to leave for another meeting. Okay.
Thank you. It's been delightful coming and seeing this. It's really exciting.
Thank you, Penny. Thanks very much. Thank you for the support.
I'm going to open the website so that you'll get.
Okay.
It's great.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks very much. Now we are going to start question and answer session. We have all written questions and answers, and I'm going to read. There are lots of questions here. So I find this support group one-to-one interaction the best session is question and answer session. So you've already written the questions, and I don't know what the questions are, and I'm going to answer those to by. So why don't you Sarah, now let's have an interactive thing. You read the question, and I will give the answer. You read it in the mic, because you're very soft, soft spoken.
Right. The first question is, for several weeks I've experienced in my eye with the highest pressure, recurrent, brief flickering and flashes, and noticed a dot in my peripheral vision. I usually notice these on waking and in the evening. Are these symptoms of glaucoma? There's a couple of questions.
Okay. All right. The flickering light, I'm sure you must have crossed the age of 40. From the age of 10 onwards, our jelly of the eye starts to become slightly watery, but it really becomes important when it's about the age of 60. It's largely water. As John had said, that our eye is like a rugby ball, and inside there is a front part and there is a back part. And in the back part, it's largely jelly which is filling. I'll show you a photograph as well. It will be useful to have a photograph. So let's. John, do you have the pointer? So as we are looking at the structure of the eye, this is the structure of the eye. This is the front portion which is involved in, there is a tap which is basically, and there is a drain. Very simple analogy rather than anything else. So that is maintaining the fluid flow for the front clear window of the eye. Front clear window is clear because it does not have any blood vessel. It does not have any blood vessel, but it needs food, it needs oxygen. And that's why it is essential. Somebody asked me why eye pressure is not fixed. What is the need of inflow and outflow? But that is a need because this area needs the food and oxygen. So this area is doing that, and when the pressure goes up, those symptoms are not arising from this area. They are arising from the jelly. This whole ball is filled with, at the back, behind the lens, is jelly. And that jelly with age is becoming watery. So whenever it becomes watery, there are few areas where there is some fiber of the jelly and which moves around, and that's why you see little bit of some spot moving. You can't control that. It's called floaters. But if you see flashing light, that means this jelly, it separates from the retina, film of the eye in everyone, and that's what is happening, that you might be getting occasional flicker on the peripheral vision. And that's also not related to glaucoma. So what was the third component of the question?
The next bit is, it seems as though I'm looking through a thick cloud. Will this be permanent?
It all depends on the condition of your eye. If sometimes, suppose this, I think it's very difficult without examining, answering somebody's symptoms, and that's why it becomes more interesting and challenging as well. But if that was, suppose jelly has separated from the film of the eye, for a few days you have these fibers floating around, and that looks like as a cloud. But if your vision, when you if it is not moving away, and if it is fixed at that point, definitely you need to be seen again to assess whether it is a progression of the visual field or is there anything else going on. Because it's not only, if you have got glaucoma, it doesn't mean that you will not have aging changes, it doesn't mean that your cholesterol is not affecting, your blood pressure does affect, everything. Your eyes are part of your body. They are affected by everything what is happening. If you are stressed, that may have huge impact. So that would be important to, if it is a permanent visual change, you need to be seen again fairly quickly.
The next question is, can you explain why and how glaucoma causes problems with colour contrast?
This was largely covered in John's, I think, John, would you like to answer this question? Because you had the presentation.
Yes, the glaucoma affects the optic nerve. The optic nerve is what is responsible for transmitting the message from the eye to the brain. Part of the message will be colour discrimination, so that will be affected like other things. However, loss of colour, brightness of colour, is not usually the most commonly due to glaucoma. It's more commonly due to cataract. And I think that an optician will be able to advise whether cataract is the issue there. Occasionally there are other causes of loss of colour vision. The optic nerve can be damaged from other things, for example, some drugs and so on. So I would be cautious about attributing a disturbance of colour vision to glaucoma. Let other things be considered.
Also important to look at the time scale, because time scale tells you a lot. If you feel the color has changed in last few days or last 1 or 2 weeks, that's definitely not glaucoma, and that's not also cataract. And that is something very significant as well. If it's a quick change, it basically means the nerve of your eye the nerve is at the back of the eye, it is getting affected. Color vision is largely going because of optic nerve dysfunction. In end stage glaucoma, probably it can become an issue, but again, the speed at which it is happening is important. So look at the speed.
The next question is, since Travertan eye drops have changed the size of the bottle, I find that it doesn't last for 28 days. Could too much damage my eyes?
Fortunately with Travertan, no. But, the Travertan also have a preservative in it. Every eye drop has preservative. Preservatives are actually modified toilet cleaners in very small And if you are putting that concentrated chemical in your eye day after day, 3 to 4 times, sometimes 8 times a day for 20 years, it does produce an effect. That's why we advise that you use 1 drop only rather than bathing your eye in the thing. But you can't control that, because this is an issue which I wanted to speak on, the generic eye drops. It raises the question of generic eye drops. Generic eye drops are drugs which have gone off patent, and lots of new people have come in the market. They are trying to make this generic medication that is cheaper, and it's very important. This is, I think, one of the important aspects of glaucoma support group as well. If I've lost that war on generic medication. I cannot advise GPs not to give generic medication, because that's far more cheaper. But when I discuss this in the local prescribing committee, if you are given a cheaper bottle and you're using it and plastic is not good, it's bathing your eye, do give a written complaint to the GP and to the pharmacy about that that product. If you give it one complaint like that, it's called a yellow card system. And if they do not improve it, and if you give few times, then they can get red card, and at least that generic, that cheaper version of drug should not be given to you. In this question, person has asked me Travatan. Travatan still is in patent, and it's a good quality bottle still for another 2 years, then it will go off patent as well. If you are having that problem, maybe you have made the hole slightly bigger. It's relatively unusual, and it will be useful to be careful and just spend a bit more time on the drop technique, so that you just get one drop.